Hello there, and welcome to part 3 of Join the Crazies with Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
So, what am I joining today, or who am I joining today? I am joining Psycho Crazy. Yes, that's his name, Psycho Crazy. So, before I go into who he is, I'll go basically on the crazies in general, and why I gave him all these names. Because there's Psycho Crazy, there's Hyper Crazy, there's Ultra Crazy, there's Extreme Crazy, there's Just Crazy, um, and it's all part of a crazy theme, the crazy theme. So, if you're new to this channel, or if you're new to crazy comics, or even anything I've done, a long time ago, long time ago, I was part of I was in the music industry, and I used to rap. And we were part of Crazy Skills Productions. And so when I sat down, I've always wanted to do comic books. When I sat down, I wanted a media company. So I envisioned Crazy Media Group, which I own the business name and the .com. And Crazy Media Group was going to be this multimedia empire. That's when I was young. I fantasized about all that stuff. And there was going to be a music division, a film division, publishing division. So, hence I started Crazy Comics, and that's with 2 E's, not a Y. So if you go to crazycomics.com, that's CRAZEE, comics.com, you see it on the screen. That was my first brainchild of my vision to take over the world, right? I'm like Buzz Lightyear. And so Crazy Comics, one of my first books published through my own brand was Cosmic Wars, and then Forbidden, and then there's Nailed in My Toilet. And through Crazy Comics, we published George Medina's Rush 5377. And so then Catch the Craze was an extension of Crazy Comics, hence the word Craze, Crazee. So you heard it on the previous episode. We came back, started the podcast, and I envisioned the Crazies. Now these are the minions of the Craze. So Psycho Crazy has a bat that's his companion that flies around, that does his bidding. And Psycho Crazy is a little extreme. He's off the rocker, he's off his rocker, and gets his kicks out of doing dastardly deeds. He's unpredictable, sometimes uncontrollable. Has to be reeled in by Crazee, who is probably the only one who can reel him in, other than Hyper Crazy, which is the blonde with the leather and the chains.
Yes, in another segment, you'll see me draw Hyper Crazy. So, these characters I envision, when I'm trying to think of, and, some of you might not even know, but you can Google it. I grew up with the Groovy Ghoulies, right? And, you think, and I've also grown up with, I grew up with Gremlins, and the TV show movie, the made-for-TV movie Gargoyles, not the animated series. And so a lot of, creatures, or, the trolls and different influences. When I thought about the look, and I talked about it in the previous episode, the look, I felt the right person to capture that look was Masiak Emperor, who's currently drawing the trade paperback, which is actually broken into 4 issues. We're going to print out each issue individually of Catch the Crazies. So there was a specific look I wanted to capture. He was the guy that I wanted to use to capture this look. And so there's so many things and layers to the Catch the Crazies, or just the Crazies themselves, because the goal is Catch the Crazies is a 2-part miniseries, right? 2 trade paperbacks, which spins off into the Crazies, which is their own book. Once that happens, well, in the second volume, you'll get introduced. So in volume number 1, you're introduced to the Crazies, the Crazy Man, the detectives, and the We Are the Craze, which is the nemesis competitor, the podcasters that are out to destroy Catch the Craze. And so you get a series of characters and elements and storylines in the first 4 issues. It's packed full of fun. In the second volume, it gets even crazier because you get introduced to another world. You get introduced to where the Crazies came from. You also get introduced to a group of characters that we cannot discuss just yet. So, hint, hint, think of the Catch the Craze podcast and where the names came from. Right? So you have the Crazy Man Vera, the Dreamer, Medina, you have, so if you understand the podcast and if you've been following us, then you'll understand where we're going with, or you might have a clue into where we're going with the Crazies. So this is the fun part. We're excited that September 26th, we're going to launch our first ever Kickstarter. I've never done a Kickstarter before. I can't tell you the amount of butterflies that I have going in my belly because, we really want it to be successful. We really want you to fall in love with the characters the way we have. I want you to enjoy the experience. The goal is to produce 2 trades, 4 issues in the first trade, and I believe 5 in the second trade. And so each issue, I think I forgot how many pages, 24 pages. So you have about 2 pages in the first trade of the actual comic, but then there's going to be, there's going to be sketch art and development art and script and all that behind the stuff, that fun stuff. And so, which is why I'm doing this series. The series really is to get you to understand who the characters are. Hopefully you like, there's a character that you like, because we're also going to launch our Patreon soon. And in the Patreon, you'll be able to select the membership level that you want to be in and select the Crazy that you like. And we create an icon for you that you can use on your social media of that Crazy, on top of all the other things that you get when on different levels of the Patreon. It'll launch very soon, in time for the Kickstarter as well. So we want to do the Kickstarter first, then the Patreon, launch that afterwards. And really, the Patreon is to continue to grow Catch the Craze podcast and really to have an intimate relationship with our listeners and followers and hopefully fans of the book. So that's where we're going with that. And right now I am coloring Psycho Crazy. I love this character. I love his look. He just looks so menacing. It's funny because I look at him and I'm like, how does he carry that big head with that skinny body? But he does. And it's pretty simple line art, but has such depth to it. Like, you could just stare at it and imagine what that character would do if unleashed into the world, right? And again, so I go straight from pencils to inks to colors. There's no erasing involved. It's just going straight through for these demonstrations, for these videos, just so that it speeds up the process. I didn't want to do a time lapse. Because I really wanted to be able to talk and share my thoughts on the Crazies and give you some insight into the world. So here he is, Psycho Crazy. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks for watching. Support our Kickstarter, September 26th. Visit crazycomics.com. That's with 2 E's and not a Y. Oh, and there are the first 3 characters that you haven't even seen, but you'll see it soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.